Thank you everyone for helping me hit 20,000 subscribers, and welcome to the video. I know that this one is probably going to tank, and I don't care. These subscriber specials are always meant for my fans. They are the videos that I am the least concerned with doing well, and I got a special one for you this time. There is only one project that I've ever started that I would describe as having failed. Way back at the start of my channel, I promised to do the review of Transformers Prime at 10,000 subscribers, and then after only like a month, I started to write this, and I realized it was because I was already getting impatient, and what this actually was kind of a backdoor way into making the Transformers Prime review without actually making the Transformers Prime review. And I was straining myself to talk about it as little as possible, while that was the only thing that I actually wanted to talk about in this video, so I shelved the script in a folder that has only ever had one file in it called Failed Projects, and I never planned on doing anything with this. Until about a year ago, when I realized that I should finally produce this for my 20,000 subscriber special. This is a video from so far back that my long scripts at the time were actually only 1,700 words. As back then, I was trying to make my videos as short as possible, but not long after this, I started making these up to my normal 2,300 words. What I am saying is that this is going to be old school perspective end. Even if the audio is new, I wonder if this is going to be nostalgic for anybody, because reading through the script, this was a blast from the past for me. This concept was a bit more novel 4 years ago, but at this point I don't exactly expect any of this to be stuff that you haven't heard before. Welcome to the final prototype perspective end. The aligned continuity isn't a continuity. So there are a great number of Transformers continuities out there. Recently I saw someone saying how they thought that this one in particular would be considered the most popular among the entire fandom, but I have to disagree with them. Today I want to talk about the aligned continuity. The aligned continuity, sorry for saying continuity so many times in so few sentences, was an attempt by Hasbro to make a Transformers universe with a unified story and theming across all of its media going forward. And I don't know that anything has ever failed harder at anything ever. There are rockets that have exploded on the launch pad rather than going to the moon that probably achieved their intended goal with more success. The level of consistency between all the aligned medias was somewhere approaching negative infinity. Nothing looked alike, no one sounded alike, the stories don't even begin to line up if you squint real hard, and the characters are not even the same people as themselves. It makes as little sense as it sounds like. Let's start off where this all began, the High Moon games. High Moon Studios produced the Transformers games, War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, and I can never remember which one comes first, because in the second game they are not fighting over Cybertron and Cybertron has already fallen, so neither title would be apt, but both make sense for the first game. I'm not even past the titles and I'm already confused. This is going great. The look of these games was very distinct. They had a very specific, grungy aesthetic and a very unique interpretation of what the characters should look like, not the least of which being Megatron. These games looked like nothing else and nothing else looked like them. The story of the first centers around Megatron's discovery of Dark Energon, which is a stupid, awful idea, a terrible name, and a wretched execution. Let's start off with the name. Dark Energon. That's like saying evil gasoline, you hacks. Malicious food, villainous water. First question, why exactly is there evil gasoline which acts nothing like normal gasoline? Energon is fuel. It can power things and explodes when struck. Evil gasoline gives you psychic control over summonable crystals. What? This is a stupid power, and they treat it like it's the most game-changing thing imaginable. In the sequel, Megatron no longer has that power for just about no reason, so that really went somewhere. Anyways, the second game is about the Autobots bailing on the already ruined Cybertron, and the Decepticons trying to murder them out of spite. So yeah, there is no War for Cybertron, and there is no Fall of Cybertron. Those both already happened before the game started. Megatron no longer has the meeker face, so that's immediately better. There was a great part where Metroplex punches Megatron in the everything, and then there are some really not fun parts where you play as Grimlock and Bruticus. But there's also a really enjoyable level where you play as Vortex, and for the first time you need to constantly change your form and take advantage of all your abilities. If the whole game could have matched that level's unique ingenuity and fun factor, this could have been considered one of the best games of all time. As it stands, it's just an okay game. But this is the one piece of the aligned continuity that actually fits together. The direct sequel to the first game that acts like a sequel. Who'da thunk it? It's all downhill from here, starting with the sequel to this game. You thought I forgot about Rise of the Darkspark, or you forgot yourselves, and all I gotta say is, looked like Bayformers didn't play. But yeah, obviously the plan of having a consistent universe went up in flames instantaneously. There were also several books written about this continuity, but books equals reading without pictures, and reading without pictures is stupid, so I didn't do. Next on the talking block is Transformers Prime, the series where the less I say about it, the fewer people will hate me for it. Suffice it to say, looked nothing like what came before it, acted nothing like what came before it, the stories physically contradicted each other, like Dark Energon is now no longer summoning crystals and is doing a completely new thing of turning corpses into zombies. What the fuck? And all the characters were clearly not the same ones we met earlier in what amounts to the same series. After that, we have the direct sequel to Prime, Rid 2015. And hoo boy, I'm not gonna break any hearts when I say that this sucked. Cringy and bad doesn't even begin to cover this series. We have yet more characters who clearly can't be the same ones as before, despite the fact that they're somehow supposed to be. But more interesting is how they apparently decided that the Decepticons were a race of furries for some reason. Why? Why? Why were all the Decepticons furries? Who made this decision? Why were they not dragged into the street and beaten with sticks? This flies in the face of not only the High Moon games, but the show that it is a direct sequel of. Yes, I know that the characters from the previous show appear later in this one without having gone through the transformation into Abomination. Basically, the plot of this catastrophe follows the freshly minted douchebag that is the new Bumblebee, and his sidekicks, Ball Cancer and Herniated Rectum, along with Gino as they attempt to recapture the escaped prisoners from their crashed ship. They are assisted in this endeavor by Hyper Ball Cancer. Fortunately, Hyper Omega Super Ultra Infinity Ball Cancer doesn't make an appearance in this show. Then there's Transformers Go, but I would rather saw off my own nuts with a rusty spoon than watch that. So now that you're up to speed on what the Aligned continuity is, I can finally start actually talking about it. Let me start off by saying that I think that the reason that this gets any praise at all really boils down to two things: rose-tinted glasses and juxtaposition. For a lot of fans, something in here was their first Transformers series ever. And as for the other point, it was competing with Bayformers, possibly the single most profitable thing ever that everyone absolutely hates. I stopped watching those pieces of shit after the second movie. I don't know why you all kept going for so long. But when compared to Bayformers, dear God, even Rid 2 is so much better. Quick interjection, can we please get Michael Bay removed from the Transformers Hall of Fame? As I see it, there are a few reasons why the Aligned continuity fails to be the most beloved. For starters, it's not even a continuity. This is not like G1, where this leads to this, and it's not like IDW, where it's one contiguous story, and it's not like the Unicron trilogy, where Unicron is in all three. This is stuffed soup. Take all this crap, shove it in a pot, even though no human brain can rectify all of the different plot holes and styles. Next up, it has some bad entries that never should have been made. And lastly, simply put, Aligned has no great stories. There is nothing in the entire Aligned continuity that you can point to and say, that is the definitive story of this whole thing. That is the story that will be remembered by fans for generations. It never had anything affecting. Nothing that broke your heart or shattered your expectations. There was never an extraordinary moment. Well, maybe when Metroplex punched the shit out of Megatron's everything. But it's competing with things like The Movie, Code of Hero, More Than Meets the Eye. Even Armada had the redemption of Starscream. What did Aligned have? That time that Sledge was already dead when you got there? That time that Cliffjumper became forevermore a joke by dying in the first 2 minutes? That time that Unicron almost showed up but didn't? That time that Megatron gave up because brain control is a really mean thing to do? That time that Rid 2015 was never funny? That time that Bumblebee didn't have his voice anymore between games? That time that Smokescreen almost grew as a character but instead got sidelined by Fatimus Prime? Sadly, the storytelling of the Aligned continuity was just never there. You can't hold a fan base together with a hodgepodge of 5 out of 10 stories. And that's not everything I have to say about this, but it is enough of what I have to say. So I know you know what everyone tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time. And that is where this video originally ended. Extremely short by my modern standard, so while I still have you here, I figured I'd show you some stuff that there's a 99% chance that you didn't know. For starters, do you want to see what the original logo I had for this channel was before I ever got my first subscriber? Yeah, when I first started this channel, I had no idea what I wanted to do with a logo. This was something that I threw together in a fit of breeze since the name PerspectiveEnd didn't actually mean anything. I wanted something that sounded memorable, and I wanted it to be a two-part name because I figured that would help it flow. That way, if someone saw me once and they kind of forgot about me, there was a chance that if they wanted to find me again, they might remember the name. Perspective literally just came out of a random word generator, and then I came up with the word end because I thought it sounded cool going with it. I used this logo for all of 4 days before I decided it wasn't professional enough, and I started work on my current logo, which might surprise you. This was the first version of it. Yeah, no, the black version with the stereoscopic 3D outline is the original version of the logo. Well, kind of. You can see that in this early concept for it, it was still a bit different. This was actually based on a concept I came up with when I was 13. The idea was a mask made of darkness that was used by the host of the biblical Legion of Demons. I was an edgy little shit as a kid, what can I say? I added the small crest on top because this version was definitely missing something. And then because of the name PerspectiveEnd, I tried to put some lines on the bottom that were warping towards the horizon, so if you ever wondered what those are, that's the explanation. Then I realized that this kind of wound up looking like the Decepticon logo, and I figured that since even though I wasn't planning on being a Transformers channel at the time, but I would still probably wind up talking about them a lot anyways, that I might as well lean into it. So I turned it purple and then darkened one half to imply that it was shading the other half, and boom, I became the angry purple triangle man. Truly, looking back on this video, it was an insane thing to have written. This couldn't be much more from that era where I just didn't know what I was doing yet. I had a rant I wanted to make and a couple of ideas in my head, and I just kind of set out to make it even though it only barely made sense. I hope that all of you enjoyed this trip back through the only thing that I just never made. And here's to the next 10,000. Thank you for being with me and making these 4 years absolutely amazing. I'm sorry that I've forgotten any of you. It has happened. There was even one person who asked me never to forget them, and I remember generally who they were and being asked that. And if you told me their name, I'd recognize it instantly, but I couldn't for the life of me recall them on my own now. But there are some who will stick with me probably forever, like To Protect and Attack, Toolnin, and Udon173, who I'm not sure watches me anymore or if they're even okay. And I'm sorry that I can't keep up with the comments like I used to be able to. It breaks my heart to not be able to talk to you all like I used to, but there's just not enough time in the day. I can't tell you how many times I've gone, okay, I'm going to respond to 3 more comments and then I'm going to go do the other stuff that I have to. Then I get to the 3rd comment and I see someone I recognize just past it. So of course I have to respond to their comment, and then the next person after them is someone that I recognize too, and yeah, I'll hit them up as well. And then the person after that is someone I've never seen before. before, so of course this new person needs a warm welcome, and before I know it, I've been there for another 40 minutes. Thank you everyone for making this an amazing 4 years. Thank you for brightening up my life so much and letting me be part of yours. I feel like I don't say it enough anymore because I don't want to annoy you all with the same old information said again and again, but you've humbled me so much. I am so proud of everything I've done here, and even though being a YouTuber is way harder than any advice or speech can prepare you for, and even when you are tired and burnt out, it's everything that I hoped it would be. Thank you for making this dream of mine come true. And before we go, let's thank a channel backer. And this time it's Sephi with HasLab Deathsaurus. This damn wheel has a sense of humor, I swear. I might have just sold my HasLab Deathsaurus, but I do think it's worth every penny. It is what it wanted to be, which is an elevated chug figure. A near masterpiece that fits in with the rest of your normal figures. It just has all the right vibes for that, and a ton of quality and accessories to boot. It's honestly a really fun figure, and I do kind of wish that my collection was built for it, but at the same time, it just doesn't mean anything to me specifically. Which is a shame, and is really the only reason that I got rid of it. And even still, this is amazing enough that I feel kind of bad about letting it go. It just has an energy about it. And one last thing, it's time for the monthly shoutouts. If you'd like a shoutout yourselves, please just follow the instructions on your screens. My patron Hayden wants you to check out his channel where he posts videos of his dog and his main channel where he makes an eclectic assortment of videos. Purple Guy 310 now not only wants me to shout out his stop motion channel, but also his eBay page where he sells things to help his family, though currently that shop appears to be empty. Emmarce started their channel just last month. She has one video so far and plans to continue with more Transformers reviews. Give this new tuber a try. She also wants you to check out Nathan with an exclamation mark. He makes shorts about his collection, so check him out. Camanianmation wants you to check out his stop motion channel, his video Underground Escape from Polyhex, his music channel, and his Spotify that has his songs sans videos. Ben has a lot on the burner, so go give him a look for Spanish language rap. Primus Reviews 196 is making weekly Transformers reviews, which is way better than a lot of other people manage. Check him out. Rice would like you to check out his CGI models that he is making for Transformers Rising Divide, and to maybe consider commissioning him to make a model for you. His prices are pretty good considering what he's offering, so if that interests you, check out his Blue Sky or Instagram. Happy belated birthday to Kelvin Ghost, whose was on the 17th. His two favorite figures are Legacy Crankcase and T30 Waspinator, and the Waspinator is an exceptionally good choice, way better than the Kingdom version. I didn't know that you could post slideshows on TikTok, but Plastic Heresy is posting them of his awesome Warhammer 40k minis. Check that out for some sick paint jobs. Whose name I just do not have the capacity to pronounce right, it would seem, would like me to shout out his brother's LEGO display at a local Finnish convention. It's an impressive showing of Bionicle. And he also wants you to know that his light bulbs are currently green and it's making everything in his room look very weird. Lastly, he wants me to shout out the Megas once again because they are his favorite band. Man, you and me need to get into a Discord call at some point or something so that way I can hear your name directly from you. Happy belated birthday to Max, who turned 14 just a couple days ago. I don't know how you all keep aging. I think I need to hire some better assassins. Hope you had a blast, man. Sebastian would like you to check out Transformers Abound, an Instagram group run by TF Abound, where a group of artists share their Transformers alternate universe. Check them out for their art, and Decepticon endvus, who draws the Transformers ladies especially. LBoy would like you to listen to his basketball podcast, All Ball, that runs every Saturday. He covers all kinds of topics related to basketball, so if you are big into the sport, give him a listen. Lastly, happy birthday to the Great Soundwave, whose birthday was somewhere around now, probably a few days ago. Check out his channel for Transformers reviews, skits, and his new show, The 6 Stars at Magic Academy. He is currently working on the pilot episodes now. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please, share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.